Good evening. Some one of you probably saw my presentation of yesterday. This is something regarding an application of BIM in our research center and with some startups companies. But I have to repeat some introduction about my research center. It's Citera, composed by 6 departments from both engineering and architecture, also structural and geotechnical engineer and public health. Around the research center there are many startups and spin-off companies. This is, I think, it's an important added value in our sector. In particular, there is also a network of 3,000 companies from mainly focused on energy efficiency and renewables. We have 3 laboratories. I'm the coordinator of the GIS lab. There is also a BIM lab and also 2 professional masters. One more than 10 years and the other one more recently dedicated to historical building. This is something very frequent, let's say, in Italy. And recently there is also a master dedicated to digital twin and artificial intelligence. Furthermore, there are some European projects in which we are involved and some cooperation and network, international cooperation. Let's enter in the topics. These are mainly the topics our research center is working on. In particular, we will talk about smart buildings and in particular the concept of the active buildings. But this is a quite large topic because it concerns not only buildings and sustainability of the buildings, but also the energy performances, the technology that can also transform this building into smart buildings. So why we have research on ecological and energetically active buildings. Why these words? Because ecological means that we analyze the whole life cycle of the building, all the materials, all the processes, and also the building in its, let's say, operational life. And energetically active, because as you can see, building, edifici, in Italian, edificios, well, they consume 44% of the energy. That's in Italy. Globally is 36%. I don't know the figure for Costa Rica, but it should be something similar. What does it mean? Talking about this 36%, 22% is in residential buildings and 8% in non-residential buildings. It's much. And the energy is one of the aspects. The other aspects can be measured in, let's say, with different methods with the ecological footprint or carbon footprint. Well, let's say the impact in terms of CO2. And in this case, the buildings impact for 39% of the consumed CO2, the GHG emission. What does it mean? That it's not only the buildings itself while they are working with the heating, lighting, ventilation and so on. It's also the process to build, sometimes to demolish also the buildings. So the chain is quite complicated. You have to think to a life cycle assessment. So the origin of all these materials that compose the building, so the raw materials, the transportation, the manufacturing. Finally, we have the building. We start using the building for 10, 20, 30 years. but then the building has a history can be also be demonstrated, for example, or transformed. Well, to calculate this footprint, so this impact in terms of CO2 is not complicated. This is the full frame of all the steps in the life of a building, from the original material to the eventually recycling after the demolition of a building. And the life of the building is just these two steps. So it's much more complicated to analyze the building before it exists and after. Why we talk about this? Also because we have some targets. In Europe, there is the Energy Performance of Building Directive, a new one updated in 2023, that talks about climate neutrality by 2050. But to reach this, we have to have, first of all, the new public buildings in 2026 to be zero emission, and then all new buildings, any kind, from 2028 to be also zero emission. What about Costa Rica? There is an interesting plan in your country. I studied a little bit, but it's strange because this is very ambitious, because you also have climate neutrality by 2050 with the use of the compensation of the forest, a great resource that we don't have in Italy. But in this analysis, I didn't find the impact of the buildings. It's not considered. Probably it's mixed inside the other. Then another reason to talk about this, the materials, so what we call the construction and demolition waste. Consider that in Italy 30% of the waste are construction and demolition waste, coming from the dockyards, the works during the construction, or also in the phase of demolition. But in some countries it can reach also 50% in volume. So it's a huge impact. And inside this construction and demolition waste, we have a lot of material. We will see something after about this. And furthermore, there is a huge unrealized efficiency potential in building, much more than in industry, transport, and power generation. Why? Because we already deal since many years with the efficiency of the industry, with the efficiency of the transport, also in the power generation sector, but we did really few little things in the building. So it's time to do it. That's why the research is about the energetically active. Because around this research we can actually talk about a lot of things, about the transformation from the passive building to the active building. Passive building is a concept, let's say, quite old. Active building means that in terms of energy, the building produces more than what the building consumes. Has to be this mix, in Italy of course, but also in Costa Rica, I think. Separate measure needed. We have to use innovative materials, ecological or either recycled or recyclable materials that don't travel too long, too far. So typical or local and carbon. Furthermore, we have to apply the principle of the life cycle assessment to analyze any part of the building and of the history of each element that is in the building. Then we have to introduce renewable energy sources and if possible, connect the building to the other infrastructure or the other building around through the model of the smart grid or through the new model, the energy community. And then the building is in a territory to be compliant with the regulation in terms of urban planning. Then there is a need of a BAC, of a building automation and control system. Also monitoring and surveying what's happening inside and outside the buildings. If you want to talk about quality, it's now very easy. There are a lot of sensors that are very cheap to analyze also the VOC and the pollutants that can be inside the building or outside. There are a lot also of certification that can also assure that the materials are effectively ecological and environmental protocols that we can apply to a building in any phase of its life. And then finally, the research focus on interactive and multimedia systems, so also augmented reality in particular, to facilitate the process of the design. The previous research of our team in Sapienza was mainly about the zero energy building. It is quite a well-known concept, or near zero, someone say near zero energy building. Well, the challenge is to transform it into an active building, so with a positive contribution in terms of energy. But to have an active building that is also compliant with circular economy, there are a lot of criteria. And this is not only work that we can do in BIM, this is a work that we have to do also in GIS. Because the building, for example, has to be climate specific. A building in Italy is not the same as in Sweden or in Costa Rica, of course. And so these are part of the team that has to be analyzed around the building. And we participate, some of my colleagues participated to the Solar Decathlon. That is a competition for fast builders that are realized turnkey, let's say, that has to be efficiently, energy efficient at the maximum. And this kind of contest, there is contest for a university team, research team, and it can be in different places. So the challenge is to adapt also the building to the climate, to the condition of the country. Well, what we are talking about is a specific project that we developed with this startup, EPOP, led by an engineering team called Ecomedia, within also a consortium with other partners, mainly startups. The idea is to have an energy active building, starting from the design, the simulation of this building, but then is also a building, realize the building. It is not, let's say, usual university research center. Normally we say in the theory. In this case, grace to the contribution to the startup company, we managed to realize. The mission in particular is to realize a building, a wooden structure, complete, plans, of course, that is an active building, so give a contribution, positive contribution in terms of energy to the neighborhood, and to use it as a living lab. What is a living lab? It's not a new concept, it means that it's a laboratory, but where the structure itself of the laboratory, you can use it to test materials, to test plants, to test equipment, so it's something, let's say, more than a normal laboratory. the idea of the smart living laboratory is based on these three concepts that seems to be the same but are quite slightly different. The active building, the positive energy block, that means block means more buildings that are nearby each other, because we are talking about sharing the exceedance of energy, and the idea of the energy community that is more recent. It's a virtual sharing of the energy that can be made not only connecting this building to another one that is in proximity, but also through the grid at a certain distance. Furthermore, we proposed this idea of the smart living labs also in other countries. I will show you also we managed to realize one of these laboratory demonstrator in China. Well, this is not a rendering, this is a real one. It's not big, as you can see. It's 120 square meter, but it's working. It's real, and it's monitored since 2 years already. And it is a passive geometry, so well, very modern as a style. This shape in the entrance gives a contribution from the solar contribution inside the building during the winter. This is designed for the Italian climate. Should be, of course, different in other places or latitude. There are only ecological materials. It is a class A4 in terms of insulation, of energy efficiency. Furthermore, there is also an innovation in terms of the basement. It's totally cement-free, so also the basement is concrete-free. It is anti-seismic up to Richter 7. There's all the sensor controls, the photovoltaic plant that is ready for an energy community, the reuse of the rainwater, and something more. It was a little bit too long to list all the technical specifications. Then it is a smart building in the sense that it is connected. Of course, it is monitored and it is also controlled from remote. And it's possible to verify the performance. So the performance in terms of energy, of thermal losses, of the acoustic comfort, and the internal air quality. But it's also possible to test, and that's the interesting thing that will link us again to the BIM. It's possible to taste new materials, introducing new equipment inside. So in the BIM we can simulate the materials, the component, the equipment, and in the living lab we can try it and then measure and verify. So it is a digital driven process, as you can understand. Let's start with an in-house BIM solution. So it's not a famous BIM, it's a BIM online that has been created to use this specific component and to realize this kind of project, of buildings. So all the components are modular and are based, of course, on a library, so the common data environment. In the second phase, it uses, of course, BIM more well known as Revit or SketchUp that has several BIM plugins. And why this? Because all the components has to be sent to the factory that will cut the pieces, prepare all the pieces to build our construction. Then there are some Python developed hardware solution. For example, to improve the site matching, site matching that you can go in the place where to build and view with an Oculus to view the building before the works start. And also the users or the future, let's say, customers that this solution could have can interact with the design, with the project. At the end, there is a dashboard to see all the performances, so the integrated monitoring. This is the simplified BIM software. This is online, only online. Simplified in the sense that you can directly work in 2D and including in the design the component that comes from the library that has been selected for this kind of building. So some different kind of wood, some different kind of finisher, some different kind of element of any part of any part of the design. Well, why modular? Because all the process will be much faster. The same software online produced that has been developed the software by a French partner, a startup, produced directly the cost analysis, automated in real time. Each time I introduce new pieces in my design, with the calculation, including also the simulation of the cost for the installation works related to all components. And furthermore, there is the possibility to introduce also elements of furniture and to work together with the users. So it means that not only the designer will use this, but also this multi-user, so also the users or the customer can introduce quite easily their ideas inside the project. So interact with the designer. In the second phase, there is transfer all this data to traditional BIM software, and also do
Nuevamente, tú puedes monitorear, tú puedes ver cómo funciona, ¿verdad? Pero simplemente, yo sí que tengo cuidado.
Knows very well the information, but the information has to be included. Someone has to bring this information to the project. I create a wonderful 3D model of information. Information means that all the components correspond to some material. Material has to be absolutely well documented. And in the case of ecological building, so an energetic building, of course, all the components have to be compliant with the sustainability approach. So has to be certified, all the ecological material.
Si yo llego aquí a través de ¿qué te pretende que yo voy a...? Pero yo siempre digo que cuando una gente piensa de esa manera, es porque ya
supply chain, history. In the case of food,
me han contado muchas cosas y bueno, te documenté siempre
material should be also
tampoco me cierro, no me cierro yo cuéntame, sí,
recycled,
pero sí, obviamente como mis pausas
mandatory, some decrees, some laws
si yo tengo una cantidad, tú tienes el doble
make the use of recycled components
si yo
en algunos de los trabajos, en algunos de los proyectos.
At least for a percentage.
No, es que yo voy subiendo, ya tú vienes bajando. Oye, pero te comento, déjame pasar el baño y ya que ya me toca presentar. Oye, no sé, pero coordinamos después, hablamos.
Then
Sí, sí.
our common dataset environment connected to the BIM use the library.
No, yo tenía mi
It's
presentación.
not only something in terms of figures,
No, pero yo había entregado. Lo que pasa es
software,
que
it's
la
something
entregué
that
hace
we
ya
call
como una hora. Yo te dije que tenía que hacer la
status.
No,
Why
no,
hypermedia?
no.
Because it's important.
Yo lo hubiese podido terminar antes, pero dime, ¿cómo es? Me tienes secuestrado hoy 7 horas, ayer 7 horas, mañana 7 horas.
Web resource that describes, for example, more information
Lo que
about
usted
these
diga,
materials.
no hay
And
problema.
for example, in the case of the certification, you need also to see which
No,
kind of
perfecto, está bien.
because there are many
Sin falla.
certifications in this
Pero ahora,
green building. Well, the most one is the LEED certification, but we have also BREEAM or WELL certification, and then all the single products that can be certified. But having so many certifications, it means that you have to know, to understand what does it mean, each one of them. That's why it's important to follow all the links. Well, the concept of the modularity is one of the case of this building solution, and we will see why. This is one of the reasons. Each of the components of the wooden structure has been numerically cutted directly from the information of the BIM, but then it is labeled and it is at the end delivered in the place where the work has to start in a certain specific way to make it easy all the construction and very fast all the process. Furthermore, also the transport has to be optimized, of course, and it's something that can be very complicated to manage. Are building in some particular place. Well, at the end, the BIM logic allows us to produce a full instruction manual. Why this? Because one of the purposes is also the fast construction. I mean that only 4 persons will build the house. And in the experience that we had in the first prototype, 4 persons build this house in less than 2 days. It means that the process is really working. But they need construction manual, otherwise they will not find the pieces,
mañana se fue.
they can make some errors.
Sí, pero bueno, yo voy a ver si puedo saber ya
Imagine that for a very simple building in wooden like this of 150 square meters, there are 90
Hay 90 páginas de
construction
manual de instrucciones. 90 páginas. Bueno,
Well, this is in real. First prototype has
Hablamos
been
eso después.
built in 14 days.
Sí, sí. Buena suerte.
This is the result. This is the first prototype was built in Arbois, France. Then we built our living lab in Colleferro, that is next to Rome in Italy.
Justo a la par de Roma, en Italia.
And what after this? Of course, this is for research purposes, and having a living lab like this to send students and researchers is very important, it's very useful, but it's also a wonderful place for startups. Startup company in the sector of energy efficiency, of ecological building, of smart building, all the IoT dedicated to the construction work. Like they are asking to use this place to find their solution. Then Lazio Innova, it is a public entity that entered in this consortium, and it is an accelerator, so a regional startup accelerator.
Ya
So this concept
no, está pagado.
finally
Ya lo pagué después de decir varias cosas
offered to the market.
que no debía. Me imagino.
This is the
Dije,
general presentation
dije lo que iba a
of
decir
the
después.
product.
Un momentito, déjame ver si tengo el micrófono encendido.
Strength point, fast building, accessible quality, because also the price is quite interesting, because
Si fue usted solamente que me escuchó en el
an impact also on the cost, the domotic, the acoustic comfort, and at the end the BIM process allows to create a very large catalog of solution with different materials, different shapes, all optimized in terms of velocity in construction and optimization in costs, but the performances in terms of energy and low carbon. I was saying about
yo no hablé de trabajo.
China.
Yo sí no hablé de trabajo. No chisme, pero... No, tampoco.
Jiangsu accepted to work with us.
Después del evento,
Inside
es que no tengo. Pero si usted me invitan, yo podría contemplarlo.
Pavilion,
Sí. Es que no, bueno, ustedes dirán, oye, no le creo absolutamente nada a esto. Ayer no, porque todo lo que me dicen no puede ser verdad.
Never.
Dice que de ellas. Bueno, de ti no sé a veces, pero no. Lo que pasa es que recuerda que yo les dije que los chicos son muy amables, entonces eres demasiado amable, entonces ya lo tomo todo con un granito de sal.
The garden and the pavilion. So the consortium is with Ambient Studio for
the
garden and with Ecomedia for
que no pueden decir, no saben decir que no. Y siempre son excesivamente amables, pero después dicen, este pendejo, tal cosa. Entonces yo no sé, o sea, no me da buena vibra eso. Porque es demasiado positiva, entonces es como asocio lo que dicen de los chicos y ya es como eso sí es verdad.
The 3K concept was the smart green building, of course, but also the vertical green, the use of vegetation on the
No, es que me comencé a dar cuenta, después de la última vez. Ahí fue como, vi un video en Instagram y fue como, es cierto, y ahí comencé como a recordar momentos.
Area, the garden and the pavilion,
sí, un pico, sí.
The topic of the urban agriculture and the landscape of
también del paisajismo.
These are rendering, these are pictures.
Sí, pero que en exceso, y entonces a la espalda se quejan del favor que están supuestamente haciendo. Pero bueno, eso no tiene nada que ver con lo que yo no le creo. Dice que tiene 45. Yo no le creo. Mira, no. Yo dije, sí, tiene que tener como 34 años. No les creo nada. Bueno, les creo que tengo que tener cuidado con el water. Ustedes me dijeron que tengo que tener cuidado.
It's really an important contribution to the energy efficiency.
Ese es el problema que está
of the project. So you can see totally covered by
yo no tomo mucho.
Tanto paredes como techo.
Yo no.
What's after that?
Yo no tomo
At this
mucho.
moment we are working in new cooperation with Nazca, that is another startup, that is proposing something that...
No, es que recuerda que tenía el curso esta mañana. Tiene el curso y tiene que hacer la presentación. Y dije, no.
It is the use of the laser scanner and the together
juntos durante
Porque-
la
during
fase
the
de construcción.
construction phase.
Porque esto,
Why this?
porque
Because
si
if
yo
I
pongo el
put a laser
escáner
scanner
durante la
during the
construcción
construction
de este
of
edificio,
this building, in
en
the
el
case
caso
of
de
this building above
este edificio, el ajuste de la construcción solamente tiene 2 semanas. Entonces es
so
demasiado
expensive
caro
to have
hacer el
a scan
escaneo para 2
for 2
semanas, si
weeks,
no
and
es
it's
algo
not a very
muy
complex and
complejo.
Me gustan
large
los dos.
Entonces es un ambiente
environment,
difícil, pero
but you
pueden
can
inmediatamente
immediately
Sí, depende. Por ejemplo,
check
si
in
estás,
the
a ver,
beam
en el
what
sol,
is going
o sea, si
wrong,
estás en la playa,
deviation, and correct
No,
it, correct it
muy fuerte.
inmediatísimo.
No, no. Es que, o sea, no es tan refrescante.
So this is to reduce more in
A
general
ver.
errors in construction. So
El
the
sistema
system
nos
will
mostraría
show all
tempranillo.
the deviation, if there are out of tolerance, if
si hay
there are
alguna
some
interferencia.
interferences.
No le voy a hacer eso. No voy a maltratar ese vino.
That is one of the
Como
typical
uno de los
No, no voy a
problemas
maltratar eso.
típicos en la
in the
fase de construcción.
phase.
No, tampoco, no,
Of
no, no.
course,
Esto
an
es
automatic.
con Coca-Cola.
proceso
No.
automatizado.
No,
Well, we
sí lo
conclude
conozco,
with,
pero no. Usted y yo sí nos llevamos mejor, porque no.
because it's the end of the life of the building.
Por
Of
supuesto,
course,
el
the
edificio
building
que ha sido
that has been
concebido
conceived with all
con todos los
ecological materials can be
también puede
also
ser
transformed.
transformado
¿Y cuáles son sus planes hoy,
Doesn't
entonces?
y no
need,
tiene que ser
to be
demolido.
demolished.
Pero más
But more in general,
tenemos que
we have
pensar
to think
acerca
about the end of the life of the building.
Es que ahora me
And,
acordé que me pusieron a trabajar
in
después de eso.
general, there are a lot of different materials.
Sí, y esta noche ahora después de la charla tengo una reunión.
Separate them, send them directly
Yo creo que voy a venir, mira, voy a venir una séptima vez a Costa Rica, pero no le voy a decir a nadie.
por
O
supuesto,
sea, voy a venir,
impacto
entrar
of the construction demolition waste and the impact of
Directo
the
para la
building.
una vez que este llegue a fin de vida.
el único que va a saber es
But we
el
need
de
to
migración, que siempre me toca el mismo.
recycle the materials and the use of the BIM.
Porque yo nos hemos visto tantas veces
Two things:
que ya nos conocemos.
the
Podemos hacer
predictive
un
maintenance,
mantenimiento predictivo.
so you can
podemos
follow all these components.
No, fue increíble, ¿verdad?
No,
sea,
will be the case
puede
to
ser el
change
momento de
things.
La vez pasada nos miramos así como,
So you prevent
y como que nos miramos.
but also you can do what is
Como que,
called
ajá, como que,
selective.
y yo como, bueno, probablemente aquí
If
mismo.
you have a complete
Y esta vez, cuando
all
llegué,
the component,
me
you
dijo,
can prepare plans
no
for
puede
a
ser.
selective
Yo, ¿cuál es la
demolition.
probabilidad
And
que
I mean,
siempre me toque la
it's
misma
very
cosa?
easy
Esto es muy sencillo
for our
para
little
nuestro pequeño
active
edificio,
building.
pero
You can
pueden imaginarse
imagine a
ustedes un
building
edificio
like
como
this,
este no es
it's not
diferente.
different. If you have
ustedes
a
tienen
well documented,
Yo estaba relajándome aquí, pero
when you do the
No, yo estoy bromeando,
selection,
demolición
all
selectiva,
of this material,
todo
also
este material,
the
lo
most
más complicado,
one,
los
asbestos,
asbestos,
rubbles,
envolturas,
can
pueden
be
ser
separated,
separadas
and
y
at
al
the end
final
you can
podemos
obtain
obtener
zero
Claro.
waste. That is
están, bueno, ya.
ambiciosa. Y con eso,
Thank you.
muchas
I'm
gracias. Si
available
ustedes
if you
si ustedes quieren
want to
hacer
ask
alguna
something.
pregunta,
Ya.
de
¿Ya?
otra manera, si no, gracias por su
Gracias.
atención.
Gracias.
Muchas
Thank you very
gracias.
much.
Tenemos una
We have a
pregunta.
question. What ER and VR to
¿Cuál ER recomienda usted?
what
¿Cuál ER
and
y DR recomienda usted? ER y DR, no sé qué usted refiere.
I did the reality la
In this case,
No sé.
well, it's there is not a specific slide on this, but it's interesting because there are two kinds of applications for augmented reality. One is to have the model and visualize the models with the Oculus or also with the mobile specific app. It's not necessary to have an Oculus, you can try to actually with a low-cost solution. You go in the you open a large space where the building has to be worked
trabajado con
time
mucho tiempo de
before,
anticipación
and
y
then
no
you
pueden
can
entonces
navigate
navegar
inside
dentro
the
del
virtual
edificio virtual,
building
pero en
in the
una
real
posición
position, in
verdadera,
the
en el
real
contexto
context. So you
verdadero.
can change,
Entonces usted puede
orient,
cambiar, orientar,
modify
modificar y
some
ver
internal
algunas
solution.
soluciones internas. Y
Well,
usted puede
this you
hacer
can do
todo
also in
esto con
virtual
la realidad
reality,
virtual
actually.
también.
But
Pero le
I
aseguro
assure you that it's
que
more
es
more
mucho más
interesting to
interesante
do it
hacerlo
in the
en
real place,
realidad
on
en el
site.
sitio
We
con
test
explorar
the
la solución
solution in Colleferro before
antes de comenzar con
starting
la
the
construcción
construction, the
y
delivery of
la
the
entrega de los
materials, to
materiales
decide exactly how
para
to position the
ver
building,
exactamente
and
cómo
it was
posicionar el
very
edificio y es algo
interesting
muy
to do
interesante de
this
hacer.
experience. This is
Este es
a
un
good
buen
use
uso de
of
su
the augmented
realidad
reality.
aumentada. La realidad
Virtual
virtual
reality is
también es
also
algo muy interesante
interesting
para el
for a
usuario
user
porque
that
puede
can
interactuar
interact
con
with the
el
designer team by
diseñador, el
remote,
equipo de
for
diseño, por
example.
ejemplo. En algún
In some
sentido, uno
sense,
puede tener
you can
también
have also online
una
tool
herramienta
to
en
make this
línea
immersive experience
para
in
hacer
the
tener esta
project,
experiencia en el proyecto, en
in the
el
model of
modular del
the
edificio.
building.